welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking on Reviews, back to talk more Dawn of X. We're on Fallen Angels number 2. I could not get my hands, well, I could get my hands on this variant, but they wanted a lot of money for it. A lot. And while I think the art is very interesting, makes me think of Rashomon. No, sorry, not going to happen. And we're here to talk about what some consider to be one of the best books, and some consider to be pretty divisive, and some people hate this book. I think this is a challenging book. But if you don't like, here's the thing. A lot of people, like I've said, when I was asked what book do I think would be canceled first, I said it should be Marauders. I don't think any of them should be canceled, by the way. I don't want any of them to be canceled. I want them to be good. But if we have to have this discussion, Fallen Angels would be the one. Because people, Psylocke, but this isn't Psylocke that a lot of people know. This is Quanon, who's calling herself Psylocke, and Kid Cable, who you know goes his tone has been goofy and just. Here he takes a sudden serious turn. And you got Laura, X-23, which, man, you know, people really just, you know, I just think she's been mishandled. I think there's a good character here. I think there's less of a good character in Kid Cable. I feel like he's just needs to go. I'm sorry, I'm going to be that guy. I want old Cable back. I do. But I happen to like these three together because it's about, you know, this is a book about warriors. And what do you do when the war's over? And what if you can't accept it? And there's more wars to fight. And what if they don't want you to fight them? You know, it's, again, I made that example of like the Sokovia Accords where they didn't want the Avengers to just be able to do what they wanted. You know, like, these people see a fight that nobody wants them to go after, they still want to do it for their own reasons. And Quanon has their own. And I'm going to pause this real quick. Pause this really quick because I think it was Doctor at Science Jesus who brought this up, that there is a storyline that goes all the way back to X-Men number 20, 21, and like 22. If you want more background into like the Psylocke, Quanon stuff, it's some of that's in here. And I was thinking about even like reviewing that for the channel. So yeah, people don't really know her, and we never really have gotten that much into her past. They did a little bit way back in Uncanny X-Men, around the whole time that Psylocke took the body of Quanon. But a lot of this book deals with her and her past and why she's doing what she's doing and how she became who she was, which I think is really interesting. And I think that Brian Hill is the perfect person for this because it's, you know, it's dark crime stuff that he's pretty good at doing, it appears. And so we get like a couple of stories that have to do, well, one story that was told in two separate parts throughout the book about her taking this guy out who she's setting him up to make him think that that he's getting out of this, and he's not, and she just tears him up. It's pretty rad, actually. These guys try to come and stop her, and I mean, it's just pretty cool. Some people don't like the art in this book. I think it's fine. I like the borders especially. I know that's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? But I just like the way that the book is set up and framed. But a lot of this stuff has to do with like the culture. This story is called Shoto, and there's many different meanings to this word. But the one that I think fits this book is sword. There's many different takes on this, and Urban Dictionary says like it's a video game thing where you summon somebody who fires fireballs, and some people say it means like roaring fire. One of the meanings is sword. And I'm going to stick with that because one of the biggest things that she has is her sword. And this is basically just more setup where X-23 is talking about how she's got this inner rage and she's hoping that Psylocke can help her like figure out how to channel that rage and control it and be its master. And Psylocke's like, every master is a slave, though. And it's a lot of stuff that, look, I'm just not going to, I don't, Brian Hill's done the research. A lot of this stuff feels like the Art of War and stuff that I've seen in movies like Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai with Forrest Whitaker. The philosophies of how to be a warrior in this culture. We get Kid Cable here, who's still back hanging out at the fire. The party's still going on, even after Xavier's dead. Well, temporarily. And then he did this research, and he found out in Overclock that there's this place where they've got the kids that are working on this stuff because they have small fingers, and a bunch of them are dead, and he wants to go down there and liberate them, which is good. He's taking a serious turn here. It's such a 180 from what he's been so far. But she's not about, she's saying that, we could, they are suffering, we can help them. We could, but we won't. And he's like, well, then I'll go alone, which is like, great start. And then Dazzler shows up. For what reason, I don't know. She's in the beginning of this book, and I was like, why would Dazzler be on this team? Because she doesn't seem like no fallen angel. Dazzler's a hard character to write. And definitely, I don't think she would fit in this story, but I feel like maybe they're setting her up for some reason in this. But, our white pages here are very, very smart and very, very philosophical. And while I can't wrap my head around everything, I can be a blunt, kind of I can give you, the Cliff Notes version of what I think. It's like, the way of the hand is found in death. It means that you're just born to live and serve and die. And that you kill and die. Conscious is a prison. If you don't feel nothing and you accept death, you can do whatever without any threat, without any real worry or fear of doing it. The one at peace, the completely one with their masters, kind of goes along the same lines, I feel like. If you already feel like you're dead, then, what can anything really do that will surprise you or, hurt you? The one will receive a command to kill that which seems innocent. So this is about doubt. When you're given an order that you might want to question, I think. To take up the matters of the world is not the task of the one. Don't look at the outside, the bigger world picture. Kind of like how is telling Cable that she doesn't want to help them. She's more about her own thing. The concerns of the whole thing that's not been a part of her way. And how X-23 wants to learn from her. You see it by the end of this book that Psylocke has to learn from them. Her way isn't gonna just do it. And then we go a wasp. A wasp doesn't consider the pain of its sting. A snake does not consider the grief of the mouse. The one cannot consider the fate of the world. The world has already fallen. The world is must the one also be is already dead. So it kind of takes all those things and puts them all into one thing. It's a lot, and I think that this is, for a lot of people, this is going to go over their head and go, I don't understand it. I don't like it. Somebody just kill some stuff. But Brian Hill is hoping that the people who pick this up can at least grasp the basics of it, and that you can at least appreciate that. And I feel like that's just... I worry for this book. I really do. I really, really do. It's up to us that, if I could afford this variant, I'd buy it, just to help the sales. I think this is going to be the book that suffers the quickest. Maybe not. Maybe Excalibur does. I don't know. But we get the continuation of that story where the guy she killed, had a lady girl, and she was supposed to kill her too, and she's pregnant, but she doesn't do it. Gives her money and tells her shit to get out of here. He lied to protect you and the child you carry. He died well. You and your child should not have to. I touched his mind and I felt how much he loved you. But then they just go, she just turns around and goes, well, yeah, but then they found her, they killed the baby, It's just, and how I failed to keep her alive. She never told him about me, and how I failed to keep her alive. I am a child begging for porridge. I have no mother, but a woman wraps me in cloth. I am a worm wrapped in silk, waiting for the morning I can fly, when I will be free of myself. So this is like redemption. She's seeking redemption. She's seeking becoming better than she was and becoming something else. And so she goes back to Sinister, who is basically the gatekeeper here. And I hope we get more of him than just being the gatekeeper, where you just every time, like you have to the bridge, the troll under the bridge that you can't cross unless you pay the troll toll. You have to pay the troll toll to get out of the Krakoan hole. And so she tells him about how Psylocke and the butterflies, and how she had that as her symbol, and she hated it. She said she hated it, but she lied. And she keeps it. Two butterflies in one body. It's a symbol of my suffering. What has done to me? How I was changed. I keep the butterfly so I can make it mean something else. And so that's pretty cool. I know that's just like kind of taking a very beautiful thing and then just going, cool. But Psylocke comes to Cable in X-23 and says, like, look, Elizabeth Braddock was the hero, I was the shell. So I'm going to need, Cable to, I'm going to teach you about war, which is hilarious coming from that Cable's the one that's supposed to know about war. And she's going to teach X-23 about rage, and that they're going to have to teach her to be more like human. And goodness, I guess. Goodness, not human. Because we know what the humans are capable of. So they go to the place to save as many people as they can. She has a change of heart, and he can't make a reading on something that's there, and they find this giant robot, which is basically kind of what he was talking about when they were doing the little flashes to the camp. And so she's like, Cable, we'll all need to trust our anger right now. So a lot more character work. This is a character book. There's things happening that are important to the story, and like this overclock stuff is important. Right now, this is a book about the people that, like I said, don't have a place, don't understand their place. They're trying to be better people. Maybe they can make X-23 a better character out of this book. Maybe they can turn me around and Kid Cable. Oh man, I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through that. I couldn't get through that without a straight face. No, Kid Cable still needs to get thrown into the sun. I know some people feel that way about Honey Badger and probably X-23 herself. But it's a testament to the book that it's good. It's still good despite how I feel about some of the characters. I'm interested in seeing that journey. I just hope that journey ends with Kid Cable dead. So... But I am really, really, at the heart of this, it's a Psylocke book, and everything else is kind of secondary. I don't know what they're planning on doing with Dazzler, if she was just somebody that they felt like tacking on there. Otherwise, it felt really bizarre. It could have been anybody. And why Dazzler? Unless it's meaning something later on. I don't know. So, anyway, still a really good book, and like I said, I fear for it. So, if you liked this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, all that jazz. Otherwise, we're going to be back with Venom number 20, and then The Irishman. So, enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving, and have a great day.